What is up, you guys? So, I got a real quick video for you guys today. I want to talk about what you need to do every single time you get paid. And this is actually what I do when I get paid. So, the way my paychecks work is I get paid on the 15th and the last day of the month. And that's exactly how I get paid every single month. Now, some people prefer this, some people prefer every 2 weeks. I prefer this way just because it's a lot easier to budget this versus getting paid every 2 weeks because you don't get paid at the same time of the month when you get paid every 2 weeks, and it can be a little more difficult to budget and plan out, make sure your rent's paid and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like getting paid on the 15th and the last day of the month every single month really keeps it organized. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Now, that's not to say you can't benefit from this if you do get paid every 2 weeks. You just got to plan out and kind of structure it a little bit differently, but do what works for you. That's all. So, again, let's talk about what I do when I get paid. So, on the 15th, when I get my paycheck in the middle of the month, I prioritize two things. Number one, I prioritize saving and investing. So, the first things I do when I get that middle of the month paycheck is I transfer some money into my savings account and I transfer some money into my investing account. Now, the amount that you're going to transfer into those isn't going to be the same for everyone. Obviously, we all have different bills and different capabilities of how much we can invest and save, and we also have different amounts of debt if you have any. So everyone's situation is different, but the important thing is to pay yourself first. Save some money, invest some money, and then take care of everything else. The only exception to this, I would say, is if you do have debt, rather than saving and investing, I would probably put that money towards debt. And when I say debt, I mean bad debt. So, like high interest credit cards, high interest personal loans. If you have low interest student loans or anything like that, then, maybe we're just making the minimum monthly payments on that. Me personally, I would probably just pay it off just because I don't like owing people money. However, you do what works for you. But again, the point here is that when I get that middle of the month check and when you get yours, you should really be setting some money aside for savings and for investing. And then, what's left over is what you have to work with as far as expenses and all that kind of stuff. So that's it. That's really all I do for that middle of the month paycheck. Oftentimes once I transfer the money out into the savings and the investing accounts, I kind of just leave the money in the checking account, and it's like my operating account. If I need the money, if I have to buy something, if I have to pay for something, it's in the checking account and it's ready to be used. Now, let's talk about the second paycheck at the end of the month. This paycheck, the primary focus is rent. So I do have an apartment. I do pay for rent. So I get paid on the last day of the month, and then on the first of the month, rent is due. So that is my number one priority with that second paycheck of the month. I'll pay my rent, make sure that's paid, pay my utilities, all that kind of stuff. And then again, pay for any other expenses that I have, my credit card bill or, whatever subscriptions and all that kind of stuff, any other utility bills, my phone bill, all that kind of stuff gets paid normally with that check too, just because that's when a lot of those payments come out is at the beginning of the month. Within those first few days between like the 1st and the 5th, a lot of my bills do come out. So that paycheck from the end of the previous month is normally allocated for most of those bills. So again, rent's paid for, utilities are paid for. My credit cards normally come out around the beginning of the month. And then I have some money left over for discretionary spending. So maybe I'll set aside a couple $100 just to kind of do whatever I want with. Go treat myself, go out with my girl on a date, or buy myself something that I've been wanting, or buy myself something, extra that I may need, whatever the case may be. But that's pretty much it. That's really all there is to it. And if you can follow this very basic structure of using your one paycheck to pay for rent or your mortgage or your living expenses and some of your other expenses as well, and then use that other paycheck to save and invest, and then use what's left over to pay for other expenses. If you can make that work and you're in the green at the end of every single month with this setup, I think it's a really easy, organized way to take care of your bills and budget. It works for me, and I think it'll work for you too. And if you can just consistently follow this plan, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to make progress on your financial situation, whether that looks like paying off debt or saving and investing. If you're prioritizing saving and investing with at least one of your paychecks, you're paying yourself first. You're going to continue to grow your net worth and move in the correct direction. But I think what the problem is a lot of people will pay all their bills first, then they go out and spend money. Discretionary spending is what I like to call it. That's what I call it in my budget. So that's going out to eat, going out to the bar, buying stuff that we probably don't need, but we just want. And then they finally go to save and invest, and there's no money left over at the end. So if you force yourself to take care of your minimum monthly expenses, I'm talking about the bare bones rent, basic food, utilities, phone bill, electricity, water, like all that kind of stuff. Make sure that's obviously taken care of. But right after that, prioritize saving and investing, and then work with what you got after that in order to go out, have fun, buy things that you might need around the house or what have you. I think if you structure it that way, you're really going to make some progress. Now, here's a question. What if you take care of your basic bills, your rent, your food, your utilities, your phone, all that good stuff? You save, you invest, and then there's not enough money left over to take care of all the other stuff that you need to do, like going out or paying for gas and all that other kind of stuff. What if there's not enough money? Well, then here becomes the question is, maybe you need to cut out some expenses. Maybe you need to get cheaper rent. Maybe you need to make more money. There's other options, but I don't think you should sacrifice saving and investing in order to go out and buy things that you probably don't need, like going out to eat or going out and drinking. So, however you want to work it, figure out your situation and what works best for you. But I really think it's important to prioritize saving and investing, because instead of paying all the credit card companies and the banks who have your loans, pay yourself first, man. You work hard for your money. You deserve it. Take care of your basic necessities, then pay yourself, then pay everyone else. That's what you need to do. And if you really want to get, selfish with it, for lack of a better term, and I mean that in a good way, is save and invest first, then take care of your rent, your utilities, your phone bill, your food, and then take care of your discretionary spending where you get to go out and buy stuff that you want. That's how you build real wealth. Pay yourself first. You work too damn hard for your money to give it away to everyone else. So that's how I budget myself. That's how I budget my money. It helps me structure things and it works for me. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. It might help someone kind of get a hold of their finances. Sometimes it's hard to look at the big picture and get a grasp on where you're at financially. So I think if you just kind of break it down by two different paychecks and you break down your expenses and your savings and your investing and your discretionary spending, I think it gives you a better idea of where you're at and where your money's going. So that's really all I had for you guys today. I wanted to talk a little bit about what I do when I get paid on the 15th and on the last day of the month. So I hope this helps you guys out. If you are new here, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, so my throat is like destroyed. Um, if you are new here, I post every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and then on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I post all kinds of content about personal finance, investing, also just personal life experiences and other stuff that I like to talk about. So if this kind of stuff interests you, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, I'm always posting new content for you guys. And I really appreciate you guys checking in, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.